Back in the Best Wines Online tasting room. See this guy next to me? Royalty. You wouldn't know it. Very unassuming, stealth kind of cat. But make no mistake about it, the Gamble family has a long history in the Napa Valley since
1916.
That's
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, that's almost a century.
Indeed.
But you don't hear Gamble with Mondavi and Krug and all this kind of stuff. What's the deal?
Prohibition. So the family came, and my grandfather was there by 1916, and 3 years later, 1919, Prohibition took effect. And looking back on things, he's not here to confirm my thesis, but that's kind of a disincentive to get jump into the wine industry. So yeah, he farmed whatever he could farm, and he was successful at it, and he kept buying land, and he would postpone marriage for many decades, and so he could buy more land. So,
what was he farming grapes, or was it prunes or that kind of stuff, or what was he doing at that time?
Whatever he could make money doing, cattle, pears, walnuts, tomatoes, anything.
When did all the Gamble family actually go over to Vineyard?
Well, when my grandfather died, he had many thousands of acres in Napa. We had to sell a great deal of it in the next decade, and but we kept some of the best lands in Oakville, but we then leased it out to Behringer, and it's been under Behringer's lease ever since. But my wife and I have been farming, at least I have, since '81, and when I was still going to school, I started my first vineyard. And I've gone up and down in acreage, and I've been as high as 200 acres taking care of vines in the Napa Valley.
So now there wasn't. This is a pretty recent phenomenon. Well, actually, this wasn't always Gamble, was it?
No, it wasn't. I started with a partnership, and because I didn't know anything about selling wine, maybe I still don't. That's why I have a good team now in place to help me do that. And I'm a pretty good farmer and all that stuff. So stick to your strengths, right?
Right.
And so I started. I had Source Napa and another label called Origin, and then I think with the 2005 Reds. We switched to Gamble in the 2009 whites, and so my partner is my wife now.
Right on. That's awesome. Now it's all. Now you finally know who Gamble is, which we're going to flash a map up there on the screen so they get an idea of kind of where your vineyards are, because you have some serious dirt in the heart of the Napa Valley. Yeah. And the funny thing is, we talked about this in a video I shot earlier for this particular wine, for the Gamble family, Sauvignon Blanc. Some of that, you got some white grapes growing on some prime dirt.
Yes, indeed. And a lot of people looked askew at me in '98 when I planted this particular vineyard, the Gamble vineyard in Yountville, right on the Oakville line. And but I had been to France. I'd been able to taste some incredible white wines. It wasn't just a cheap date wine. Right. That Sauvignon Blanc often was considered back in the 70s and even into the 80s. And I got the land. I was looking at the planting explosion of Merlot, which was kind of the other option. And I said, it looked like us farmers, we're going to do it to ourselves again, which is plant it until you kill yourself. So I planted Sauvignon Blanc. I found a clean version of Lou Preston's clone and the Ventana Musqué clone that had come over from the Loire somehow.
Yep. And the rest is history.
The rest is somewhat history. First, one of the first vineyards, I think, to have vertical trellising and relatively tight spacing and farmed like Cabernet to make a high-end Sauvignon Blanc.
Now, is it coincidence that Sauvignon Blanc growing in the heart of the Napa Valley is actually really friggin' good? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? As opposed to like, some of the outlier type areas, like hear about Pope Valley and Childs or kind of that neck of the woods. But Valley Floor Sauvignon, a lot of it's really friggin' great.
It is. They're how would you say it? They're richer soils. They are going to give you softer textures. Think Santamillon versus Graves. And so I think you could grow good red grapes there if you adhere to very rigorous, high quality farming practices. But it's behind the Yountville Hill there, sandwiched between two rivers, a little slightly lower in elevation. You get lower lying fog in there. It lasts just a little bit longer than everywhere else surrounding it. It just keeps the heat off. It's mid-valley, I mean mid-valley, and it really keeps the afternoon heat off of it. And I think that has something to do with maybe the slower ripening. My wife's ranch up in Rutherford has Sauvignon Blanc, and we're always picking that like a week, sometimes 2 weeks earlier. And it's just that much warmer up there than this cool little spot.
Speaking of Graves, this wine, you look in the Bordeaux for inspiration? So
Yeah.
I'm guessing based on the taste, because this is, I mean, to me, it's not quite a dead ringer. There's too much sunshine in it, actually, you know.
No, it's California.
But it's California for sure. But the framework of this wine is inspired, I think, by Graves and Pessac Léognan.
And well, that would be a very close comparison, something we're shooting for. And I think, and this is the 2011, and that probably has more Graves-like flavors in it because it was a cooler year, and we picked this right after Labor Day. I think between, we started on the 6th and ended on the 14th of September versus, say, a warmer year like this year, 2013, where we started on August 13th and we were done before September. So much warmer, probably going to be a more fruitful expression this year versus this, where you are getting some of, I don't know what you want to say, slate qualities and earthen quality to it, almost maybe a vanillin quality coming from the fermentation in oak, and we do a native yeast fermentation as well.
The wine, I mean, it has the structure of the wood, but it doesn't feel at all oaky to me.
That's what we were shooting for. We used mostly neutral oak. We didn't want oaky and buttery. That's for somebody else's sales pitch. And we just wanted to soften the edges from just a hard stainless steel ferment, which was prevalent with Sauvignon Blanc at the time.
Right, which that almost comes across like too aggressive early on to me. Those wines almost like reductive, kind of like folded in on themselves type deal.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and this wine's so expressive.
Yeah, well, it's got all that interaction with oxygen that happens on such a minute level because it's in the barrels.
Kids, do yourselves a favor. Grab some Gamble Family Sauvignon Blanc, and it's, you know, and we talked about it earlier. I think in one of the other pieces, it's almost kind of like the dodo bird. You know, as these land prices keep going up in Cabernet, you know, for Cabernet up in the valley, and as people head south for Cabernet, as things warm up and vineyard management gets even stronger, this is, you know, Tom might be fall under the pressure, man. There could be Cabernet here 2 years from now. So hey, you know, like,
I don't know about that. I'm in love with my child here.
You know, I hope not. It is one of the most unique and just flat out cool expressions of Sauvignon Blanc in the state of California.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for keeping the sticks in the ground. Thanks so much for making it. Tickle pink to drink it.
Cheers.
Cheers.